Hey guys, I thought I would do a video for you today on something that I call Cauli Pie. It's like shepherd's pie, except we make it with cauliflower so that it's healthier and lower in carbs. I have water boiling already on the back of the stove. And to the water, I'm just going to add cauliflower. And this batch, I'm not going to do just cauliflower. This is about the size of one maybe medium potato, just a regular white potato that's already peeled. And I'm going to add that into it because the cauliflower really will just take on the taste of the potato. So those are just going to boil together to soften so that I will be able to blend while I'm cooking everything else. Go ahead and get that covered. And now I'll go ahead and start my meat. You can use any kind of ground meat at all with this. I often make this with turkey, ground venison. This is ground beef. It's just some that we had left over from a party that we had done, and we had bought a ton of hamburger to make hamburgers. So this is, I guess, around a pound or so of ground beef. But you can use ground chicken, ground turkey, ground beef, ground pork. I've made it pretty much with all the above. So you just get your meat ground. And while my meat is browning, because it just does not take much time at all, and we like our onions super cooked, I go ahead and add in my onions. And how much you like just, depends on your family. We like onions and garlic as long as they are cooked well. So that's just like one large onion that has been diced up. I've already set my oven to 350 so that it can be preheating and letting this brown. I also don't drain my meat. We like to have ours just a little bit, not soupy or gravy, but just that there's some liquid in it when you cut into it. So I don't normally drain my meat. I keep that moisture in there, and it just gives it a little bit more flavor. So all this is going to cook down. And I'm not using frozen vegetables. I have fresh vegetables. Often if I'm in a hurry, I will just throw a bag of frozen vegetables in here. But today I had all the fresh ingredients, so I'm just going to add in my fresh ingredients right to this same pan. I like this recipe because it's an all-in-one. At the most, I usually just dirty, actually 2 pans, or a pot and a pan to cook it. I usually have my vegetables already prepared in the refrigerator, already sliced up and ready to go. So I just pour out of my jars however much I need for my recipe. So I'm not dirtying up more jars. These are already ready in the refrigerator to go, so that at night I just pull what I need out of the refrigerator. It's already chopped up, and I can just cook with it right away without having to take the time to peel carrots, to snap green beans, to chop onions. I know that it's already in the refrigerator and ready to go. And this is almost brown, so I'm just going to make myself a little spot right here in the middle and throw in some garlic. This is just already minced garlic. That's probably maybe a tablespoon of minced garlic. Like I said, we like garlic, we like onions as long as they're cooked well. So add in our garlic. And added to this, I'll go ahead and put in my green beans. However much you guys want, just depends on your family and what vegetables you like. So everything green beans. Added to that carrots. Some parsley. That's maybe 2 teaspoons of parsley or so. And salt and pepper. And then to give it just a little bit of flavor, you know, sometimes it can be just a little bit bland. I like to add just a dash of Worcestershire in. If you like it, add it. If you don't, you know, just leave it out. And then if you want it to have just a little bit of a, I don't know, a manly smoky flavor, you can add just a touch of liquid smoke. And then depending on how much moisture you have in your pan from your meat, you might want to add a little bit of beef broth, and that will also help the vegetables cook down some by adding some more moisture. So I have some beef broth here that I'm going to add in. And that was probably about, I don't know, half a cup or so of beef broth. And now I will add peas. I know a lot of people make shepherd's pie with tomato based. I've never done that. I know on She's in Her Apron, Kimmy on that channel, she uses tomato soup in her shepherd's pie, and I grew up doing it more like this, and we've never used tomato soup. So I'm not sure how you do your shepherd's pie. This is just how I grew up and how I've kind of adapted it for our family, so that you get a lot of vegetables. If there's not much meat or you don't have much meat available, you can bulk it up with vegetables, and you can use a small amount of meat with a lot of vegetables. And then by putting the cauliflower on top with just a little bit of potato in there to flavor it, it really cuts the carb count down and makes it a much healthier dish than if you were just to cover the top in a couple of inches of mashed potatoes. So I just have to cover this and let the vegetables cook down a little bit to soften. Okay, this is pretty much cooked down now. The vegetables have softened up, all the meat is browned, and a lot of the moisture has dissipated. There's just a little bit of moisture still left. Some people put like beef stock or something like that in it also, or soup, beef soup. Some people put chicken condensed cream of mushroom soup or chicken soup or something like that, depending on what they have, if you want to put some sort of a soup to give it a really thick creamy base. I don't do that. We like it like this. Now the cauliflower and the potatoes have cooked down. And to this, I'm going to add a couple of tablespoons of butter, a dash of cream, salt and pepper, actually I'm probably going to need more salt than that, some garlic powder, onion powder, and then I'm just going to use my little hand mixer to mix it all up. I'm not worried about getting every single lump out. We like our stuff a little bit lumpy. You know, it's not going to be completely smooth and creamy just because we don't care if it's that way. Just well blended. Till it is this consistency. You can see it's just very well blended. Lid off that. Give it a quick stir and just even everything out. And then just cover in your cauliflower and potato mixture. If you want, right before it's ready to come out of the oven, you can sprinkle a little bit of cheese on top, whatever kind you like, Parmesan or cheddar, and just brown it nicely. And that always gives it a nice little extra kick to it. Just if you want, you know, it may not be worth the calories to add that in. Or if you have kids that will eat their vegetables if they're covered in cheese, you can do that also. Now I have my oven set to 350. This is pretty much baked already. It's all cooked through, but I'm going to put it in my oven at 350 until the top browns just slightly. If this was just potato, it would brown better, but since it's the cauliflower potato mixture, it won't brown quite as well as it would if it was just potatoes. And this is the finished product. I topped it with just a little bit of Parmesan, Asiago, and Romano, just to give it a little bit of kick to the top. And you cut into it. You can see all the vegetables, and the topping is crisp. And we just paired it with a little bit of fresh fruit and some deviled eggs. So kind of round the meal out. Hope you guys enjoy.